Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakaacharya Astater Sata Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakaacharya Astater Sata Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Morning Class. Hari Bol. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha.
There's no sound in the kitchen.
Shri Rupa. Oh, there's no.
Yeah, the sound isn't in the kitchen.
What?
The sound isn't in the kitchen. Do you want me to get in?
There's no sound in the kitchen?
Yeah, through the speaker.
Oh, just check the. Maybe it got unplugged. Excuse me. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sujivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Haribol. Jai, continuing to read Sri Sri Upadesamrita by our Divine Param Master, Srila Rupa Goswami. Oh no, I'm starting with Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jaya Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jai Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are now, of course, reading Adi Lila chapter 5, and we have come to verse number 50. This is the glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. Maya Bharta Janda Sangash Rayanga Shete Shakshad Karanam Bodhi Maje Yasyai Kangsha Shri Pumanadi Deva Tam Shri Nityananda Ramang Prapadye. I offer my full obeisances under the feet of Shri Nityananda Ram. So this is the 9th verse of the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita, which now Krishnadas Kaviraj is going to elaborate on. Lying on Karanadak I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation called Karanadakshai Vishnu, lying on the Karana ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy and the shelter of all the universes. Vaikunta Bahire Je Jyotirmaya Dhamma Tahara Bahire Karunarnava Nama. Outside of the Vaikunta planets is the impersonal Brahman effulgence, and beyond that effulgence is the Karana ocean, or causal ocean. Text 52. Vaikunta Bedya Eka Ache Jalanidhi Ananta Aparatara Nahika Aviti. Surrounding Vaikunta is a mass of water that is endless, unfathomed, and unlimited. Vaikuntera Prithvivyadi Shakala Chinmoy Maika Bhutera Tati Janmanahi Hai. The earth, water, fire, air, and ether of Vaikuntha are all spiritual. It is all conscious, serving, conscious substance. Spiritual means conscious and devoted. Material elements are not found there. Chinmaya jalase paramakarana jara ekakana ganga patita pavana. The water of the Karna ocean, which is the original cause, is therefore spiritual. The sacred Ganges, which is but a drop of it, purifies the fallen souls. So the Ganges, of course, you know the pastime of Lord Vamanadev.
Are you asking us?
Oh, are you still not hearing?
No, it's something out there that needs to be fixed. Not in here.
Yeah.
It's something out here that he needs to do over there.
Oh, all right then. So you can't hear very well.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
He just got out of the shower, so I'll let him know what he
Oh, okay, sorry. Seita Karunarnava Se Shankashana Apanara Aka Angse Karena Sayana. In that ocean lies a plenary portion of Lord Shankarshan. Mahachasta Purusha Tingho Jagata Karana Aja Avatara Kare Mayaya Ikshana. He is known as the first Purusha, the creator of the total material energy. He, the cause of the universes, the first incarnation, casts his glance over Maya. So in the Karna ocean, of course, the Lord is lying down there in his divine sleep, attended by the goddess of fortune, Rama Devi, and praised by everyone, all the Vedas and all the great sages and everyone. And when he's breathing out universes. And then he casts his eyes over Maya. Maya Shakti Rahe Karanabdira Bahire Karana Samudra Maya Parashite Nare. Maya Shakti resides outside the Karana ocean. Maya cannot touch its waters. Seita Maya Radui Vidya Avastiti Jagatera Apadana Pradana Prakriti. Maya has two varieties of existence. One is called Pradana or Prakriti. It supplies the ingredients of the material world. So Maya has two features. One is the ingredients, and the other is the, we'll read the, okay. So Maya, the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is divided into two parts. Maya is both the cause of the cosmic manifestation and the agent who supplies its ingredients. As the cause of the cosmic manifestation, she's known as Maya, and as the agent supplying the ingredients of the cosmic manifestation, she's known as Pradana. An explicit description of these divisions of the external energy is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto. Elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, the ingredients and cause of the material cosmic manifestation are described as follows. Kalo Daivam Karma Jiva Svabhavo Dravyam Chetrang Prana Atma Vikara Tatsangato Bija Roha Bhava Has Tvanmaya Shatan Nishedang Prapadye. O my Lord, time, activity, providence, and nature are four parts of the causal aspect of the external energy. time, activity. But what kind of activity? Activity for the pursuance of selfish desires. Providence and nature are the four parts of the causal aspect of Maya, of the external energy. That is such an amazing statement. The conditioned vital force, meaning the soul, the subtle material ingredients called dravya, the material energy, which is a field of activity where the false ego acts as the soul, as well as the 11 senses, the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, which are the 16 ingredients of the body. These are the ingredient aspects of Maya. The body is generated from activity. In other words, activity is creating our future bodies. And activity in the past is what has produced this body. The body is generated from activity, and activity is generated from the body. Just as a tree is generated from a seed that is generated from a tree. So action is creating a body, and then with the body, more action is done by the free will of the living entity, and future bodies are created. Is this clear? The reciprocal cause and effect is called Maya. My dear Lord, you can save me from this cycle of cause and effect, and I worship your lotus feet. Although the living entity is primarily related to the causal portion of Maya, he is nevertheless conducted by the ingredients of Maya. So that's the causal portion, and the ingredients are there. They have to be there. 3 forces work in the causal position of Maya: knowledge, desire, and activity. The material ingredients are a manifestation of Maya as pradhana. In other words, when the 3 qualities of Maya are in a dormant stage, they exist as prakriti, avyakta, or pradhana. The word avyakta, referring to the non-manifested, is another name of pradhana. In the avyakta stage, material nature is without variety. It has not manifested all these illusory varieties and action and reaction and all those things. Varieties are manifested by the pradhana portion of Maya. The word pradhana is therefore more important than avyakta or prakriti. I want to read that again. The word avyakta, referring to the non-manifest, is another name of pradhana. In the avyakta stage, material nature is without varieties. Varieties are manifested by the pradhana portion of Maya. The word pradhana is therefore more important than avyakta or prakriti. Pradhana is acting to manifest all these unmanifest aspects. Jagat karna nahe prakriti jadarupa shakti sanchariyatare krishna kare rupa krupa. Because prakriti is dull and inert. What is prakriti? Prakriti is
one of the qualities of Maya. It's one of the qualities of Maya.
Yeah, just means material, material nature. Prakriti. It is not. It is simply an energy or a feature of illusion. It doesn't have any manifested qualities. It is the potential of material existence. It lives in a potential stage. In the potential stage, meaning unmanifested stage. It has no qualities. Because Prakriti is dull and inert, it cannot actually be the cause of the material world. But Lord Krishna shows his mercy by infusing his energy into the dull, inert material nature. So, this goes back to the fact that the Lord is glancing over material nature. He is known as the first Purusha, or the creator of the total material energy. He, the cause of the universes, is the first incarnation, and he casts his glance over Maya, therefore imbuing it with life. And that life is, well, we'll continue to read this. Thus, Prakriti, by the energy of Lord Krishna, becomes the secondary cause, just as iron becomes red hot by the energy of fire. Thus, Prakriti is dull and alert, but it becomes infused with life and variety by the glance of the Lord, just as iron, although dull and inert, becomes red hot and with many qualities if it is heated by fire. So that glance of the Lord is compared to the fire which brings life to the dull, inert iron of the material world. Ataiva Krishnamula Jagata Karana Prakriti Karana Jaya Jagalastana. Therefore, Lord Krishna is the original cause of the cosmic manifestation. Prakriti is like the nipples on the neck of a goat, for they cannot give any milk. So Prakriti is just like, it doesn't have any action. Just like the nipples on the goat's neck, looks like nipples, but they're not really. They don't have any quality. There's no milk that can come from them. Do you follow that analogy? Qu'est-ce que c'est que tu fais? So, just like the, anyway. The external energy composed of pradhana or prakriti is the ingredient supplying portion, and Maya, as the causal portion, is known as Maya Shakti. Jai. Okay, I'm going to read this little purport here because it's important for understanding these things. But I'll wait until you're ready. You can put that somewhere else. The external energy composed of pradhana or prakriti as the ingredient supplying portion, and Maya as the causal portion, is known as Maya Shakti. Both of those things. What two things are comprise Maya Shakti? Prakriti is inert, and pradhana, which is the activating principle. Okay? Mm-hmm. Can you tell me now what those two things are?
Prakriti
and I can't hear you. Can you come a little closer?
Prakriti and pradhana.
Pradhana. Yeah, very good. And prakriti is inert. There's no qualities. There's just it looks like something, but there's no life in there. There's no it exists, but there's no feature. There's no features. And pradhana is the activating principle. Those are both principles of Maya Shakti. Right? Is there any question about that? Inert material nature is not the actual cause of the material manifestation. In other words, Maya herself even is not the cause of it. Ichanurupamapi asya chachestatesa. She is completely under the will, and she is acting under the will of the Lord. Inert material nature is not the actual cause of material manifestation. For Karananavashai Mahavishnu, the plenary expansion of Krishna activates all the ingredients. It is in this way that the material nature has the power to supply the ingredients. The analogy given is that iron has no power to heat or burn, but after coming in contact with fire, the iron becomes red hot and then can diffuse heat and burn other things. Material nature is like iron, for it has no independence to act without the touch of Vishnu, who is compared to fire. Lord Vishnu activates material nature by the power of his glance, and then the iron-like material nature becomes a material supplying agent, just as iron made red hot becomes a burning agent. Material nature cannot independently become an agent for supplying the material ingredients. This is more clearly explained by Sri Kapila Dev, an incarnation of Godhead, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto. Jatol mukhad vishpulinga dumad vapi swasambhavat apyat venabhimata apyamat venabhinmatad yatagni pritag ulmukad. Although smoke, flaming wood, and sparks are all considered together as an ingredient of fire, the flaming wood is nevertheless different from the fire, and the smoke is different from the flaming wood. So they're all ingredients of fire, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go to that part. The three ingredients of fire are the burning wood, the smoke, and the fire itself. But they're still separate ingredients, aren't they? And they're not all on the same level. The material elements, earth, water, fire, etc., are like the smoke. The living entities are like the sparks of the fire. And the material nature as pradhana is like the flaming wood. But all of them together are recipients of the power from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are thus able to manifest their individual capacities. In other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the origin of all manifestations. Material nature can supply only when it is activated by the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just as a woman can deliver a child after being impregnated by the semen of a man, so material nature can supply the material elements after being glanced upon by Mahavishnu. Therefore, pradhana cannot be independent of the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Mayadakshena prakriti shuyate sacharacharam. Prakriti, the total material energy, works under the superintendence of the Lord. The original source of the material elements is Krishna. Therefore, the attempt of the atheistic Sankhya philosophers to consider material nature the source of these elements, forgetting Krishna, is useless, like trying to get milk from the nipple-like bumps of skin hanging on the neck of a goat. So I've been discussing this with my brother. Trying to get knowledge or trying to understand truth in the plane of non-truth is completely useless. And what is the source of untruth?
What is the source of untruth?
Oh, I thought you guys were trying to do something.
No, we were checking about the flowers for after the program.
What is the nature of untruth? You're not going to be able to. Well, how does it exist? That's another question. To try to solve ignorance through looking at ignorance closely is not going to work. And what is the source of ignorance? Am I the source of ignorance? Did I create misunderstanding? All of these are energies, and I'm in the throes of those energies, but I'm certainly not the cause of them. Maya angshe kahitare nimiti karana sehanahi grate karta hetu narayana. The Maya aspect of material nature is the immediate cause of the cosmic manifestation, but it cannot be the real cause, for the original cause is Lord Narayan. Gatera nimita hetu jaiche kumbhakara taiche jagatera karta purushavatara. Kumbhakar means the potter. Well, this is a very famous analogy. Just as the original cause of an earthen pot is the potter. You know, clay doesn't make itself into a pot. So the creator of the material world is the first Purusha incarnation, Karana Vaishayi Vishnu. Okay, so I think we'll come back to these analogies tomorrow and talk about them a little bit more. The analogy of the potter. There's a person who makes the pot, and then there's the ingredients of the pot. Haribol. So someone may think, well, why do I have to know this? But the thing is, we are in the middle of all of this. Actually, we cannot know anything without humility. Humility is a very important quality in understanding. Because the soul actually never is not the soul is by nature not ignorant. Ignorance is an artificial thing over the soul. The fact that we have to wonder about things, that we have to solve the problem of not understanding, that is a feature of the material condition. It's not natural for the soul. So to really come to knowledge, one has to come to the plane of the soul. And then automatically, there's no ignorance. Ignorance is like a disease. It's not a natural part of the soul. It's a very hard thing to understand for someone who wants to figure everything out. He thinks he can figure everything out, but he can't. He's not coming out of the disease. So the disease of ignorance is not so easy to come out of, simply by figuring things out. Even by the method of Gyan, which is very, very difficult. That control over the misunderstanding, misidentification with matter. It takes thousands and thousands of lifetimes of practice, and many of them never really come out through that practice. And then even if they do, so what? They know what they are not, but they still don't know what they are, because they have not fulfilled the potential of the soul, which is for inconceivable ananda, incredible joy. But what is the source of joy? It is in giving. It's in serving. It's in sacrifice. In love. That is where joy exists. So just to negate the taking quality, which leads us into this big mess of action and reaction, that is not enough. If you are not suffering from a disease, it doesn't mean you have a positive life. You're not going to stay in the hospital and just stare at the walls. You're going to be engaged in a healthy life. So just not being in the material nature, which is so painful, is not fulfillment for the soul. So that process is just not useful. We have some gyan, but it's all in relation to the absolute reality. That is divya gyan. They're leaving half of it out. They want to solve the problem of material energy, but where did that problem start? Where did the material energy come from? Who is the owner of the illusory potency? Is it me? Certainly not. I didn't create it. But that requires some softness of heart, some purity of intention to come to the plane of the Lord. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnupade Si Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Hari Bona. We're continuing to read the talk of Srila Bhagavan Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which is in this chapter here on page 347 of the Upadesamrita, and this starts on page 331, but now we're on 347. Hari Bol Jai Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Mukha Pahuru Padebhya Purushasya Ramai Saha Chatvaro Yagire Varna Gunar Vipradayak Pratak Ya Eshang Purushang Shaksharatma Prabhavam Ishwaram Napachantya Vajananti Stana Brashta Patanchadaha. The Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas and Shudras were born from the face, arms, thighs, and feet of the Lord through the modes of nature, along with the 4 ashrams. Those amongst them who do not serve and thus disrespect their own Creator, the Supreme Lord, lose their positions and fall down. All of them, all of these ashrams are meant for service to the Lord. It doesn't matter which one, really. We cannot recognize a Vaishnava by observing external detachment or external attachment. We can recognize a true Vaishnava as a Vaishnava by observing their extremely sincere attachment to Hari Bhajan and their extremely genuine constancy within it. We should not confuse a sadhaka with a siddha, master. We should not look at Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj of Navadvip's habits of chewing pan and smoking tobacco, and we should not imitate him. We should look at his extreme propensity for bhajan. So extreme is the important word here. a person like Bamsidas Babaji Maharaj, somehow or other, I've come in possession of a picture of Bamsidas Babaji which has been laminated. I don't know where it came from, and so it's there.
Oh, the one that has that looks like a caveman.
Yeah.
It was in the box. I think that belonged to Ram Sundar Prabhu.
Oh, really?
Remember that box that was in the garage with books?
Shouldn't have been in the garage. But yeah.
It was in there.
Ah.
So he used to smoke tobacco.
Chew tobacco and chew pan.
What is pan?
Pan is like it's mildly intoxicating. When you go to India, you'll see a lot of people have kind of reddish teeth.
Mm-hmm.
It's from chewing pan.
Mm-hmm. And that's some sort of
It's mildly intoxicating.
intoxicating.
And Krishna chews pan, but that's transcendental. but Vaishnavas generally are not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we cannot imitate those who are actually completely transcendental and can do whatever they want. No, because their want is 100% coming into their heart as the will of the Lord. They are non-different from that. And they can manifest anything. It doesn't matter what they do. Just like a person in a prison house has so many rules and regulations, right? In order to try to rectify his consciousness.
Yeah.
But those outside, they don't have to follow those rules. They can do anything they do is the honest thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bamsidas Babaji, he doesn't want anybody bothering him. He was living in the place where people pass stool in the fields. He didn't want other people.
Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj?
No, Vamsidas.
Vamsidas.
Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj. But he was actually existing in the divine plane, and everything he saw was in that plane.
Mm. Is this the same as Gora
Gorkishore Das Babaji
Is the
Maharaj.
same?
In that regard, yeah. But Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj didn't do this sort of thing, because that just wasn't who for his own reasons.
But he was also extreme. I read today that he used to lock himself from inside a bathroom, a toilet, and that so that he wouldn't be bothered by the karmis.
Yeah.
In his Hari Bhajan.
Yeah, he didn't want people coming around.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times when people would see somebody like that, and others would imitate him too.
Mm-hmm.
They would imitate him but their reason was to attract the people.
Mm.
And his was not like that. He didn't like that. He didn't want others to be, and they didn't know who he was anyway. They're not very realized about these things. So it's just bothersome. But he allowed Srila Saraswati Thakur to come so close as to give him even initiation. So all these things are there. And Srila Saraswati Thakur here is really emphasizing what is real Vaishnavism. Is it only external? So we are reminded that the process that's from the Pancharatriki, that Pancharatra type of practicing life that we have in the temples to some degree is very powerful. But it is not the end in itself. You may be taking a powerful medicine, but when you become well, you may be doing many, many things. You're not just sitting in your life of trying to become well is more limited than your life when you are well. So the two things are there, but if we imitate those who are well and free and heart completely pure and devoted and free to do anything and everything, but it is all glorious, then we'll fall down. Definitely we'll fall down. We need this system of practicing life. And that is no small thing. It is very powerful. It is the most powerful thing to be found in the universe, is the practice of bhakti. That is so powerful, there's nothing to compare to it. But what Saraswati Thakur is saying is that you cannot necessarily understand a Vaishnava by external things. Do you know what I mean? By what he's doing externally. Neither by his birth or anything else. So both of those things have to be understood simultaneously. Is there any question about that? Is there? So the rules and regulations and the form of sadhana bhakti are not an end in themselves. They're not the end in themselves, but they are powerful to bring about a change in the heart when done in the mood of service and surrender. That is the current. The external thing without the current is like a TV that's not even plugged into the wall. It's not doing anything. It's external. But that service connection, the surrender, that is where the current is in all of these practices. And through that, and through the development of that, one may leave behind one practice which now becomes too formal to the point of being wrong in approaching the Lord. Can you follow that? When you first meet someone, there's some formality, right? There's a little formality when you first meet someone. But when the relationship becomes very deep, then that formality will be like, ugh. It feels, it's wrong. It actually becomes something to give up in a sincere relationship. Of course, I'm trying to give a good example, and that is, Guru Maharaj is saying this. It will be hatefully given up, meaning it is not a good thing anymore in my relationship with the Lord. But to come and try to pretend to have an intimate relationship with the Lord without qualification, that will be dangerous and offensive to the point that you will fall down. You will become, your so-called devotion will turn into sahajiyism, and you will become nothing but a sense enjoyer in the name of Krishna consciousness. That's called sahajiyism. Do you follow? It's a very important point. These are important points to understand. The goal is not just in these external practices. They must become internal, and they may take the same form. But the Vaikuntha, the devotees of Vaikuntha, Dwarka, Mathura, and especially Vrindavan, there are so many manifestations of service that are not given in the Pancharatra. Because it's coming spontaneous, it's raga marg. And it can take any form at all. And Vamsi Das Babaji is the example being given here by Srila Saraswati Thakur. I have to say, when I was in Navadvip, well, we were living in Navadvip with Gurudev for a while. And sometimes when I would go, if I would have to go into the market in Navadvip, following the advice of our gurus, I gave respect to everybody. I really did, in my heart, because I don't know who they are. A man may be sitting in a rickshaw, smoking a cigarette. And he may be a great Vaishnava. Or he may be selling fish somewhere. Or fishing. I don't know. It's not that a fisherman is necessarily a great devotee, but a great devotee can be a fisherman. He can be anything. But we are not assuming that and thinking anyone and everyone is on the same platform. But there is a possibility, and we are giving honor knowing that that is a possibility. So Guru Maharaj explains that the reason that we have these big festivals and feed everyone in the whole area, you know?
What festival?
Any festivals. Guru Maharaj would open the gates to the temple, and everyone in the village would come to the temple. Anyone in any situation.
What is the reason to that?
Just because one of them might be a Vaishnava. We don't know. They're not taking... The great liberated souls are taking the position of Acharya and acting according to Pancharatra in order to teach the conditioned souls how to do that. But they don't have to do that. They can do anything in the service of the Lord. It's not coming from the mental plane. It's coming from directly coming from the Lord in the heart, that instruction, that tendency, whatever it is. He's playful. Krishna is not following rules. He's not a rule follower. He's giving these rules to us for our purification. Is anybody got a question about this?
No,
So we are talking about great surrendered souls here. We're not talking about us. That, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this, and I'm a great soul. We're not to think about that in a foolish way or a sentimental way. These are to be understood very, very carefully. So we cannot recognize a Vaishnava, meaning an actual Vaishnava, by observing external detachment or external attachment. External meaning what it looks like. We can recognize a true Vaishnava as a Vaishnava by observing their extremely sincere attachment to Hari Bhajan and their extremely genuine constancy. They're not moved from that at any time. Within it, we should not confuse sadhaka, means a practitioner, with a siddha, who is a perfect person. We should look at Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj of Navadvip's habits of chewing pan and smoking tobacco. And who is he? And we should not imitate him, but we should look at his extreme propensity for bhajan. And that doesn't mean just chanting a whole lot. We're talking about real bhajan here. The actual position of extreme service to the Lord. So I'll give you this story.
Didi, can I ask a brief question about those personalities?
Yeah.
Do they have the perception of a gopi, of Braja?
Some. Depends on their relationship with the Lord.
Or
The Alwars. Oh, I was going to finish that story of Jamunacharya. We don't have time now, but the Alwars of South India were all Vaikuntha. We're all from Vaikuntha. Their relationship was much more formal, but they were complete, absolute Vaishnavas. But they didn't have. But in our line, because of Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami, and our Guru Varga, that is the goal of the Gaudiya Vaishnava. That's, way above our heads at this point. But yes, continue. Was that more of that question?
So I was going to ask if a soul in the position of a Babaji is solely as a gopi type of perception.
No.
It could be also like in other moods, in other
Other
dances,
moods.
other moods. And one more question: is it possible?
And
that
someone calling himself a Babaji is also not qualification. There are lots of Babajis in India. You can make a good living as a Babaji, actually. Or you just are trying to detach yourself from the world, or many, many things. But Krishnadas, Vamsidas Babaji, Gorkishore Das Babaji, they're inconceivable position.
Inconceivable. And one more question. Since everything is based in consciousness, is it possible that an insect in this world can be 24/7 meditating on the Lord and have even the position of a gopi? Because we see these great personalities like a Babaji that is just chewing pan and smoking tobacco, and it might be like a gopi, and it looks like a caveman, a homeless guy. So is it possible that also like an insect can have be in ecstasy?
Well, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that clearly. Kita Janma, how? If you want me to be born as a Kita means bug. But let that be in the home of a Vaishnava. But it's not like... So, we are not trying to imagine these things. If that is shown to us, it will be shown to us. We know that is possible. We're very friendly to other living entities, actually, because the soul is there. And we don't like to see that the soul is suffering like that. And the Lord is in the heart of that soul, and we cannot even perceive that living entity without the Lord's desire. He is Rishikesh. Nothing can come into our senses without His will. So we're trying to remember, you have brought this before me, my Lord. What is my service? That is our practicing position. And try to live according to the inner surrender. What shall I do? We don't know what that's going to be. It can be many things. But with Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj, Guru Maharaj tells the story. And I think I've told it before, you may remember once I start. But Srila Saraswati Thakur told his disciples, observe him. This particular person, he pointed out, you observe him. And so one day the devotee, and Guru Maharaj would sometimes observe him, and one day Guru Maharaj, but he would do that in a very quiet and respectful way. And one day he saw that there were some men standing around talking. And Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj said, get out of here! What are you men doing? You don't see these young girls here? Get out! What are you doing? Get away from here! And Guru Maharaj said, in his divine vision of Navadvip, which is non-different from Vrindavan, he is coming out in the mood of Jashoda, in the mood of Vatsalya Ras, protecting the young Braja Gopis there. But he's seeing all that. So, but this is not imitation. This was a genuine thing that was pointed out by someone else who can see that in a person. And another time, the disciples of Saraswati Thakur came and had a big kirtan right in front of him, right by his ashram, by his place where he lived. And Vamsidas Babaji came out, and he's looking at them, watching them. And then they stopped and he said, you can break your mridangas, but can you break your heart? It's beautiful instruction. So these are very rare examples, but everywhere there may be a Vaishnava. When Gopakumar came to Vaikuntha, all these persons he saw at the gate, they were coming from the mundane plane. They had gone there to do something that the Lord wanted them to do, and they're returning. We don't know where they are. We don't know how to recognize them. Or even the incarnations of the Lord. I was just spent some time by the ocean, a little bit of time. I mean, how many waves are in the ocean? In that one little tiny space of the ocean, you'd lose count after an hour. But there are as many incarnations of the Lord as there are waves in the ocean. So we don't know where he's manifesting himself. We have to come to the plane of consciousness in the mood of surrender. And so many things may be shown we don't even know, and we're not asking to be shown. It is according to his will, and everything he does is perfect. I think that this camera should be here because I always look this way because my I don't know why, but I guess it's because there's not much here. Just a wall.
Okay, we'll try that tomorrow.
Jaya, Upadesamrita. Huh?
Here.
Yeah, maybe, because I'm always like, I think Tulsi Devi is there, and I'm looking and thinking about. Anyway, I don't know. Probably should have told you that after the class, but it just helps me to think. Jai Shri Upadesamrita ki Jai Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai. Pride is a symptom of ignorance. Right, Ananya? Pride is a symptom of ignorance because we want to understand the truth. And the truth is we have no qualification. I wasn't saying this particularly to you. I just wanted to...
No, it's okay. I need to hear it.
I know you guys want to hear. That's why I'm always giving you a hard time during the class. Because even when I'm in the kitchen and I'm listening, if I, like say it's the Sunday program and, some nice lecture is coming, and I have to do something in the kitchen, but then I forget and I start talking. Yeah. And then I miss it, and I really regret it. It's hard to stop talking when there's somebody around. It's vachavegam, it's very strong. But this particular time, this class in the morning, whoever's giving it, doesn't matter. I'm just saying it's part of our sadhana, and it's very important to start our day by washing our mind with this transcendental sound vibration, coming in solid form, in the form of a book, but that doesn't change anything. Otherwise, we can forget why we're in the temple. We can forget why we exist easily. It's not hard. And I really recommend a notebook. A notebook helps you to concentrate.
Yes.
And then I'll even buy you a beautiful notebook. And
I've been in the past. I've seen people come in with notebooks, and other people are like, "That's weird. Why do they have a notebook?" But it's so helpful.
It is. It helps you to. I make notes all the time when I'm listening to classes, because it really helps you to concentrate. Mm-hmm. And also, then oh no, I need to think about this. And you can turn it off. When you're like in the day, you can't really turn me off. I'm just like, just keep going. But you can ask a question. Or you can say, I'm not really catching that.
Yeah, exactly.
I want that interaction.
Okay.
I don't want just to read and then, you know what I mean? It's hard. This is a lot. So it's not, I'd rather go slowly and make it, I mean, we're just trying to, this is a sacrifice of knowledge, as Guru as Krishna says in Gita. It's our sacrifice to bring our consciousness into the plane of divine sound. Instead of just, oh, I thought this 200,000 times already, and I think I'll think it again. It's like, that's what we'll do for the rest of our lives. Jai Shri Rupa Goswami ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki Jai, Chaitanya Saraswat Ma ki Jai, Chaitanya Saraswat Mission ki Jai. Okay, may I have a pair of kartals, Prabhu? Actually, why don't you lead Hari Haraya this morning?
Okay.
My voice is intolerably clunky. All right.
Can Nanya lead and I play the big danga?
I can leave.
Okay.
Okay.
Very soberly.
Of course.
Yeah. Soberly means.
Why did you say we had a bucket of vatsa?
Huh?
He's switched the page to bucket of vatsa.
It doesn't matter.
It does not matter. It was a flip away.
So just concentrate on the meaning of the song and not on how I'm singing it.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I mean by sober.
Of course. Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopala Govinda Rama Shrimadhusudana.
Gopala Govinda Ram Shrimadhusudana.
Giriraj Gopinath Madana Bhavana.
Giriraj Gopinath Madana Bhavana.
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Maharaja Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Maharaja Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Rupa Sanatan Bhattara Gunata.
Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunatha.
Shri Shiva Gopala Bhattara Saragunata.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Raghunatha.
Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhana.
Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhana.
Jai Vignana Shavista Purana.
Jai Vignana Shavista Purana.
Jai Gosai Charamuri Paradasa.
Jai Gosai Charamuri Paradasa.
Asvara Paradenu Moya Panchagrasa.
Asvara Paradenu Moya Panchagrasa.
Madhuri Charana Sevi Bhakta Samivasa.
Chandra Charana Sevi Bhakta Samivasa.
Janame Janame Mora Devi Abhilasa.
Janame Janame Mora Devi Abhilasa.
Jai Gosai Jai Raja Kulavasa.
Jai Gosai Jai Bhakti Kulavasa.
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakasha.
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakasha.
Anande Guru Hari Bhaju Vrindavana.
Anande Guru Hari Bhaju Vrindavana.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Parena Jai Yamana.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pare Bhajayama.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Para Parma Puriyasha.
Shri Guru Vaishnava ki jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pari Brajakachasta Saraswati Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pari Brajakacharya Asta Saraswati Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Shri Dardev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Sadgoswami Prabhu ki jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. You know that Shyama Kunda and Radha Kunda are right at the base of Govardhan. And that is, of course, the lecture we've been hearing from Srila Saraswati Thakur between those two divine lakes. Hari Bol, Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai, Tadiya Saka Mat ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission ki jai, Kol Kartal ki jai, Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai, Srimati Tulsi Devi ki jai, Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala ki jai, Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Bol.
Jai Srimati.
Jai Gurudev ki jai. Who's here?
Nobody.
Nobody but us chickens.
There's still people all night, but who knows who they are?
They're anonymous.
Dandavat.
Dandavat. Haribo.